school's out, blame corona, but I still got some science I could show ya. No class, no school, that's cool, throw the class on the YouTube. Even if they shut the school down, I'll get that knowledge anyway somehow. Real scholars won't stop for corona. Tune in for that science takeover.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Mrs. Finney's science class. We currently have 117 subscribers. Thank you all for joining us. Shout out again to the HB Warriors. You guys are truly missed. And to all of our viewers that have subscribed, thank you. I want to get started today. We are closing out lesson 5 we finished yesterday. But there's a section that's called Reading Further, Brain Training. So we want to go over that one today. The learning objective, I can explain strategies to train my brain. What does that mean? We need to have strategies to make sure that we can increase our ability to memorize different things. All right, so let's look into the lesson. Here in this section, it starts off with the question, how good is your memory? If you met 25 new classmates on your first day at a new school, could you remember all their names by the end of the day? That's a tough one. I know at the beginning of the school year, I tried to use some different strategies to remember my students' names. Sometimes I'm doing better than others, but we all have this situation at the beginning of the school year. Scientists have studied how the brain remembers names and other bits of information, and what they have learned may surprise you. Can you train your brain to have a better memory? Let's see. We want to talk about memory development. Question here says, what is the earliest thing in your life that you can remember? For me, I think elementary school. And I want a bike for a fundraiser. Yeah, that was a big day. That was a big day. My dad helped me get that bike off of the school bus. It was huge. It was huge. All right. So that is the furthest memory back I think I have. But what's your favorite memory? No, your earliest memory. Please type that in the comments. All right. You might remember some things that happened when you were 3 or 4 years old, but rarely can anyone remember anything earlier in life. How about that? So thankful for pictures, right? And video. You can capture that point in time. Why is that true? You cannot remember the day you were born because a newborn's brain cannot yet form memories. Wow. A few months later, however, your brain developed enough to start remembering simple images such as a parent's face. Your ability to form memories improved as your brain grew larger in size and created more connections among its neurons. So this takes us back to the beginning of our lesson 5, all right, where we talked about neurons. Very important to understand. Your ability to form new memories improves as your brain grows larger in size and you're able to create more connections among your neurons. Keep that in mind. The ability to form memories is tied to both brain growth and development. Both peak in a person's 20s. Brain growth and development peak in the 20s. Interesting, right? And then start to decrease after the 20s. That may be why some older people find it harder to remember new names or do several things at one time. However, the ability of older people to recall words or facts that they learned long ago does not seem to decrease with age. We naturally form memories of things that happen in our lives, but sometimes we are also asked to remember specific pieces of information. This happens in school, right? Remember this, remember that, remember this, remember that. In school, you may be asked to remember a list of parts in a body system or the names of American presidents. Outside of school, you may need to memorize passwords, locker combinations, or the dates of your friends' birthdays. That lack of combination piece, I feel like that's inside of school more than outside of school. Remembering these things requires memorization, the act of committing facts to memory. All right. So some people are extraordinary at memorization. A man named Kim Peek memorized more than 7,600 books. It has been claimed that a composer, Sergei Rachmaninoff, I hope I said that correctly, was able to hear and remember an entire classical opus and play it back perfectly. Some people are better at memorization than others, but did you know that there are tricks you can use to improve your memory? So whether you feel like you have good memory or not, here are some tricks you can use. Become a memory athlete. You may never memorize 7,600 books, but with training, you can have a really good memory. Memory is not only important for passing tests, but also for putting different pieces of information together, for problem solving, and even for connecting with other people. You know, you can go to make that connection with somebody and you met them and then you see them again, but you forgot their name. That could make that connection a little awkward, right? Yep. Do you ask the person their name again? Or do you try to figure it out without asking them? I don't know. I've done both. There are many techniques that improve your memory by training your brain. They are easy to learn. So here are some exercises for you to try right now. Here's the first strategy. Create a mental image. A mental image is a picture you form in your mind. Mental images can help you recall hard to memorize information, such as words or numbers, because pictures are usually easier to remember than words or numbers. Breaking up the word into parts can often help you create a silly mental image that connects the parts of the word with an image. Images are easiest to remember when they are silly or unusual. I'll give you a flashback to when I was in high school. Math and science were my favorite subjects. I didn't really take too much to social studies. So one year I finally realized if I put the information inside of a creative story and I pictured it in my mind, that I was better able to recall the information I had to study. All right, so little did I know, I was using this strategy to create a mental image to help me through social studies. Okay? Suppose you are learning some new science terms and the words are unfamiliar and hard to remember. Happens often. Thinking of a mental image to represent a new word can help you to easily recall it. For example, to remember the term hippocampus, you might form a silly image of a student hippopotamus on a college campus. Here's an image of that. Check this out. Hippo on campus. Maybe this works for you to create that mental image. Okay? So then it says a few other examples are shown in the table. Take a look here. Might work for you, maybe. Cerebellum, the part of the brain that controls movement and balance. A girl named Sarah wearing a bell skirt. Cerebellum, cerebell. I see it. All right. Pupil, the black opening in the eye through which light enters. Pew, a stinky pillow. Pupil, stinky pillow. I don't know, might work for you, maybe. All right, so those are some examples. The science term and its definition are on the left side. An example of a silly image is on the right side. See if you can connect the silly image to the word. Then look at only the image and try to remember the word. To make it even more challenging, try to make up your own silly image that associates the word and its definition. If you use your imagination, you can use this method to form images that help you remember any difficult term. Next strategy, create a memory palace. So this is a technique of creating a memory palace involves making a mental image of a place that you know well, such as your home or school, and then filling in that palace with images representing the items you want to remember. So suppose you need to remember for a history test the order in which these 5 American presidents served: Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. First, plan a route through your imagined palace, maybe from the front door, through your home, and into a bedroom. Now make a mental image of each president in a special place. The sillier the image and the more details of your home you add, the better you'll remember it. So here's an example. All right, so yeah. I think this may be for the artists, folks who like to draw. This might be a great way for you all to remember. I definitely love to draw. Okay. On your tour, you might picture President Reagan eating a snack of jelly beans while greeting you at your front door. Then you see George H.W. Bush in the living room watching cartoons on TV. Clinton is standing at the kitchen table wearing a funny hat. Walking down the hallway, you notice George W. Bush sitting against the wall and reading a comic book. Finally, you find Obama painting a landscape picture in the bedroom. When you need to recall the list, all you have to do is imagine the route you took through your memory palace and which presidents were in the different places. So that's a strategy that you may be interested in using to improve your memory. All right. Next, this right here says this is a very generic palace. It is much better when you are creating the images yourself and imagining the layout of your own house. Now that you know how to create a memory palace, try making your own and filling it with items you want to remember. Okay? So some people have a difficult time remembering their Social Security number. That's one thing that we all have. Okay? So there's another strategy called chunking. Chunking is a good way to memorize a set of unrelated numbers or items. Small chunks of information, as in a Social Security number, are easier to memorize than a larger group of unrelated bits of information. So here, I'll pull up this way. All right, John Doe, they have his chunk 573-40-9731. So remembering the chunks may be a strategy that you would be into, okay? Instead of trying to remember this all at a group. Next strategy, first letters. Suppose you need to know the names of the 5 Great Lakes of North America for a test. You can make the word homes from the first letter in each name to help you remember Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. In a similar way, you can also make up a sentence using the first letters of terms in a list. You guys, I'm sure you've heard of Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally as a strategy for order of operations in math class, right? So in this case, to help you memorize the organs of the digestive tract in order, and we talked about that when we covered the digestive system: mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestines. Remember, my excitable sister stopped laughing. It's just a strategy you may want to pick up. So working from the first letters, all right? Another strategy is called linking. Linking uses additional information to connect a group of unrelated items. So let's say you need to remember this shopping list: corn, milk, notebook, glue, soap, and onion. They can be linked together in the following story. A man with corn kernel teeth spilled milk on his notebook. He washed his hands but used glue instead of soap, so his hands stuck together and he could not grab an onion. Perhaps using that linking strategy would help. The story is longer but easier to remember than a list of words. To practice, have a classmate create a shopping list, maybe someone at home instead. Memorize this list by linking the items in a silly story. So the more you practice memorization techniques, the easier it becomes, because connections between neurons seem to get stronger with use. Use these techniques every time you need to memorize something, and you can become what they call a memory athlete. All right? So we want to make sure we review what we covered today. And keep in mind, these are some strategies you may want to use next time you're required to memorize something. All right? Brain training. So in today's lesson, we talked about memory development. Keep in mind, the ability to form memories is tied to brain growth and development. The ability to form memories is tied to brain growth and development. We naturally form memories of things that happen in our lives, but sometimes we are asked to remember information. So this is why we have some strategies. The strategies to help improve memory that we covered today: create a mental image, picture it, create a memory palace. That's what we did with the presidents, right? Chunking, that was the example provided with the Social Security number. First letters, using the first letters such as in PEMDAS, right? And linking, trying to make a connection through a story. Okay, so those are some strategies that you may want to use. Let's wrap this up with our wrap-up questions here. First question we have for today: how come we can't remember the day we were born? What's your thought? Questions on you? Okay. Answer says we can't remember the day we were born because a newborn's brain cannot yet form memories. All right. Next, what causes babies to be able to form memories a few months after birth? Share your thought. So as the baby's brain grows larger in size, it creates more connections among its neurons. All right? Big takeaway for today's lesson. Let's fill in the blanks here. Your ability to form memories improved as your blank grew larger in size and created more connections among its blank. What goes in this first blank? What goes in the second blank? Hope you have that answer. I know you know. So your ability to form memories improved as your brain grew larger in size and created more connections among its neurons. All right? Here we go. Fill in the blanks. The abilities to form memories is tied to both brain, blank, and blank. What's in this first blank? What's in the second one? All right, let's check and see. The ability to form memories is tied to both brain growth and development. Nice work, nice work. Name 2 strategies that can be used to become a memory athlete. Keep in mind we went over a few. Definitely more than 2. So just name 2. Okay. So I wanted to share with you all of them. To become a memory athlete, you may have said a person could create a mental image, create a memory palace, chunking, use the first letters, and linking. All right, those are the strategies we covered. And that's it for today's lesson. Let's close out with our outro. For those at home, our 7th grade HB words, if you would like, you can answer the questions in TCi related to this lesson. Lesson 5, go back and just challenge yourself to see what you know. You can go ahead and insert those answers in the sections for lesson 5. All right, let's close out. Here we go. It's been fun. It's been real. We break it down and pick up science skills. Give yourselves 2 claps just for tuning in. Come back, meet tomorrow. We can learn again. Oh, it's been fun. It's been real. We break it down and pick up science skills. Give yourself 2 claps just for tuning in. Come back, meet tomorrow. We can learn again. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.